Gauteng MEC for Human Settlements and Infrastructure Development, Lebogang Maile, together with Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Kabelo Gwamanda, met with Diepkloof Hostel leaders and residents in Soweto. The visit comes after residents embarked on a protest earlier this week, citing the poor state of the hostel and other service delivery challenges. SABC News journalist Nozintombi Miya was at Diepkloof earlier today, and this is what she had to say.
Well, this Human Rights Day, the spotlight now turns on the issue around hostel dwellers and around the issue of the ongoing protest that has been taking place throughout the course of this week, where we know that the Diepkloof hostel dwellers have been up in arms over the state of living and the state of hostels in Diepkloof. And to get a little bit more information about the interventions that government is putting in place and the communication between government and the hostel dwellers, I have with me the spokesperson for the mayor, Mlemande, who's joining me. Mli, thank you so much for joining me. We're here in Soweto, bright and early on Human Rights Day. Who all is here and what will be the topic of discussion, obviously, around the hostel issue?
Well, the Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Councillor Gwamanda, is here, including the MEC of Human Settlements in the Gauteng Province, Honorable Lebogang Maile. Obviously, you would have reported on the fact that Diepkloof residents undertook a protest in the last week. And I would also want to highlight that 2 weeks ago, the mayor was supposed to have visited the hostel because there has been ongoing engagements between the residents of the hostel and the executive mayor. When the residents protested last year in June, the executive mayor personally came. There were issues around water and sanitation, which were part of the grievances of the residents. Residents had grievances with regards to the electrification of the hostel, and also there were issues with regards to the relocation of residents from the particular old hostels that they're currently residing in. What the mayor was going to do 2 weeks ago was actually going to launch an electrification project that has been completed. So as we speak, some of those grievances to a large extent have been attended to. However, the residents feel there are some elements that are outstanding, and it is unfortunate that they had to protest in the manner that they did, because they have been listened to, they have been engaged over the last period, and the work has been going on, and they have been witnesses to those particular interventions of government. But the executive mayor and the MEC, as committed and caring civil servants of the people, are now here to once more engage the residents and find a lasting solution to some of the challenges that they have raised.
So now, let's clarify, it's not the residents per se of Diepkloof, it's specifically the residents of the Diepkloof hostels, right? Let's just recap, what were the issues that they brought to the table to government and said, these are our grievances?
Well, in the previous cycle of protests, the residents had complained that they were not having access to water, that the water supply was unreliable. The toilet facilities that were at the hostel were not being serviced as regularly as they would have wished, and they were not adequate to cater for the population that exists within the current hostels. Those interventions were done. Water was provided. There was an increase in the number of ablution facilities provided for the hostel. A complaint was that the electrification project that was previously initiated at the hostel had stalled, and that it had not been completed. An intervention was made that now has been completed, and the mayor was intending to officially launch it 2 weeks ago. Now, where we are is that there are residents who must be relocated because there are new facilities that have been built to accommodate.
And this is, to interrupt you, this is exactly what I was leading to, because it's not just an issue in isolation. There are facilities, there are new hostels that have been built just behind the old hostels. Explain what was the rationale behind that, and what is the process you're going to be looking at in terms of moving the people from the old ones to the new ones and demolishing those old ones?
Well, the old hostels, the population has increased, and they are also very old. They are not habitable. They are not safe for the residents. Government had intervened and built new facilities so that we can be able to relocate the hostel dwellers. There are challenges with regards to who gets relocated first and how. And that is a process that we are engaged with together with the leadership of the hostel, because we must then be able to develop a list of priorities as to who are the first beneficiaries of the current units that are available, and gradually who moves into the new facilities. Now, that process is being undertaken. But I just want to highlight that there's also an issue, because the new facilities are now 4-story, 3-story high buildings. and there are some cultural considerations that some of the residents have raised with regards to that kind of living experience. Because
What cultural consideration?
Well, there's different views. People do not want people living above them for one or another reason, and we must respect that, but we must engage it so that we are able to explain to the residents that unfortunately the city does not have the land capacity to build single dwellings, but that some of the high-rise buildings that we are now bringing are a solution to the housing crisis that they have, and they will provide them with safe and habitable accommodation.
I suppose this also talks to the response you've received from the indunas and from the leadership. Beyond the consideration of the high-rise, what has been the sort of tentative feedback you've gotten? Today's meeting has been an important closed-door meeting, correct? And there's going to be feedback. What have you heard so far?
Well, the meeting is still ongoing. I don't want to preempt its outcomes. The MEC and the mayor will address the media and share what the outcomes of that engagement are. And I'm quite certain the Izinduna, together with some of the leaders of the hostel dwellers, will also be able to share their views and their responses to how the engagements have been conducted and how they have proceeded and concluded today.
The hostels themselves, the new ones, the 4-story ones, have been. It's been a project that's not started just last year. It's been an ongoing project that started quite a while back. Why has it taken so long for those apartments to be ready?
Well, there were some challenges in the beginning with regards to contractual issues and contractors. We moved past those. The dwellings were finalized. Some were invaded and vandalized. We were able to once more recoup and regain access and evict the people who had invaded them. We had to rehabilitate them. As of now, we have now been issued with occupancy certificates that now allow us to actually get people to move into those facilities. And hence, you are now starting to see a movement to get people into the facilities.
We're seeing people moving out. We're seeing the mayor walking right behind you there. Just want to ask my camera colleague Gabe to just show you what we're seeing. These are the people that were part of the meeting, the closed door meeting that just happened now. And we are anticipating, as they all walk towards a door, towards the end there, that there will be some resolution that comes out of it, and we'll get feedback quite soon actually about what their engagements were. Before I let you go, Mli, what then happens to the old hostels? What then happens to those ones?
Well, the Department of Housing in the city will obviously look at them. They are uninhabitable. They should actually be demolished from my assessment. But what the city would have to do is that is space that is available where if they are demolished, new housing opportunities can be developed in that particular area.
It's an election year. There's been criticism that the government is coming to the party purely because they want to calm the water so that these possible voters vote for the current leading party. What do you say about that criticism?
Well, it is truth. It is an election year, but it might also be an opportunity because for us who have been on the ground together with the hostel dwellers, it took us as a surprise that there's a protest. And it can be a counter-allegation that because it's an election year, people are now starting to protest even though there is work that is ongoing. And only as early as a week ago, we were engaged with them and trying to confirm that the electrification has been completed. So it's an election year in all directions, but government will not stop working. Government will continue functioning. And for those who are honest and truthful, they will know that even before this election cycle started, government has been on the ground in Diepkloof working.
Leah, I'm going to let you go. I see that we're all heading towards there. We'll touch you later after the meeting is concluded. Thank you very much. The spokesperson for the Joburg mayor just giving us an update about the meeting and some of the problems that have been experienced throughout this process this week, where we know that the Diepkloof Hostel dwellers have raised their issues and their concerns around being reallocated to the new hostels.